Life was tough in 1640. And then you'd find it's only got one hand, which showed you the hour, but not the minutes. So you'd have to do some guessing. Just as well there weren't too many buses to catch in 1640. Things developed rather quickly. They were making clocks like these, called shielded clocks, with painted faces. And then in 1760, a new character showed his face for the first time.
Cuckoo.
Cuckoo, you got it, yeah. And the cuckoo, you see, first appeared on one of these shielded clocks. It wasn't until about 1860, when the railway first came to the Black Forest, they started making these station house clocks, built to look like station houses of the time. Coming to its own. Be very careful, it's a dangerous bird. And the reason they chose the cuckoo, it was an easy sound to imitate. I'll come back to that in a minute. First of all, some famous German clocks. This one here is called the Dumpling Eater. And he gets to eat his dumplings. At 4 o'clock he gets 4 dumplings. No prizes for guessing what his favourite time of day is? 12 o'clock. He gets 12 dumplings. Yes, very good. This fella, on the other hand, does not like 12 o'clock at all. This is the industrious tailor, and it's otherwise known as the mother-in-law clock. And there she is, gently encouraging him to get on with the work, you see. Are there any mothers-in-law here today? No? All right. Maybe some of you gentlemen would like to take something home for your mother-in-law. Never see me later. It's for the mother-in-law.
It's my mother.
Okay, now then, for some a very serious business, if all the clocks are put together. And you know the clocks. The wood that we use is called lindenholz. In English, lime wood. Lime wood. It's very soft, hardly any grain, it's ideal for carving. But a piece of wood like this, you'd have to dry it for 4 years before you start using it. It's very moist wood. Would otherwise split by carving. When it is ready to be used, they'll take a metal stencil and they put it against a piece of wood and spray paint it. So they're left with something like this. Right? And then they put 5 or 6 of these boards on top of one another, you see, and cut them out on a scroll saw. And with that saw, they can cut out the outlines and the inner outlines as well. So they're left then with something like this. And you know, that's the only part which is done by machine. The rest is all done by hand, with tools. With tools like these. Huh? Sometimes they might also resort to tools like these as well. For inspiration. All the carving on the frame, very popular as a background. You will find oak leaves or vine leaves or typical Black Forest animals, like this rabbit for instance, or the deer, squirrels, birds and so on. Of course, it wouldn't be any good if there was nothing inside, so they put a clock in there. And here you can see the different kinds of movements we have within our clocks. These two here, for instance, they play music. These two here just have a cuckoo sound. This one and this one are 1-day mechanisms, whereas this one and this one are 8-day mechanisms. What does it all mean? How do you tell them apart? Well, I'll tell you. You can tell a lot about a clock, you know, by looking at the weights. And if you see a clock, 8-day cuckoo clock, it's a man who knows about cuckoo clocks. 8-day cuckoo clocks, right? Smaller weights like these, 1-day cuckoo clocks. You have to wind them up every day, in other words. And if you see a clock with really small weights like these, you have to wind these up once every 5 minutes. That was a joke. You know, you heard me before, haven't you? These. What?
You have purchased from me.
Yeah, really, from me? Okay.
Maybe from here only.
Okay. These little weights actually, they're battery operated. Okay, for battery clocks. You don't have to wind them up at all, in other words. Alright? But I'll tell you what you can tell by looking at the weights. Every real cuckoo clock has at least 2 weights. One is for the time, the clock, the mechanism, and one is for the cuckoo. But about half of our clocks still have 3 weights. The 3rd weight, that tells you that the clock also plays music. Okay? If you see a clock with 3 weights, it plays music. Now I'm going to have to disappoint you all. It's not a real cuckoo. It's just a couple of bellows and whistles and they go like this. Okay? So please don't try to feed the cuckoo. You know, everything about our cuckoo clocks is made here in the Black Forest, apart from this. This is the music box made in Switzerland. I'm going to show you a little trick now. I want you to listen very, very carefully. And I'll play this in mid-air, and you can tell me what you hear. You hear a little bit of music, right? But you don't hear very much, do you? But now, wait until I put this on a piece of wood. And now listen to it. It's a big difference, isn't it? And that difference is just because it's touching the wood. The wood vibrates, the sound resonates off the wood just like a musical instrument. And it just so happens all our cuckoo clocks, they're made of wood anyway. So it doesn't pose a problem. All that is, apart from this one here. And of course, as soon as we heard you were coming today, we had this one made specially overnight. And when I played for you, see first of all the bellows for the cuckoo on this side, the music box is on this side, the mechanism in the middle, and these figures rotating on the top. The cuckoo always gets to start. And this cuckoo has a little bit of a sore throat. So now the music will start. And there you see these funny figures rotating on the top there. So now you know what it looks like inside the cuckoo clock. And you know these clocks, they have another very important feature. And that's this switch here on the side. And this switch enables you and the cuckoo to go to sleep at night. Because if you lift that switch, the clock continues to run, but the cuckoo stops, the music stops, everything goes quiet. In the old days, they had to shoot the cuckoo. Now we have a switch, it's better. In the morning then, if you like, you can put it on again. The cuckoo wakes up in good voice. You wake up refreshed after a good night's sleep. It's a very important switch. Please follow me over here. I'll show you one or two of the clocks that we have in the shop.